Welcome to this episode of Ontoloca Presents Around the Point by SurfRay. Your host today is Josh Noble, and the guest speakers for this episode include Mikael Svenson from Puzzlepart, Robert Piddocke from SurfRay, and Michal Pisarek from Dynamic Owl Consulting. Thank you for joining us, and here's your host, Josh Noble.
I'm your host, Josh Noble, and welcome to another episode of Around the Point. This episode's topic is all about search, and I'm joined by three experts in the SharePoint search arena. I have Robert Piddocke with SurfRay, Mikael Svenson with Puzzlepart, and Michal Pisarek with Dynamic Owl Consulting. I appreciate you guys joining today. So if you haven't watched the show before, the rules are really simple. I'll ask a question. In this episode, it will be all about search. Each contestant will have 30 seconds to answer their opinion all about the question that's been presented. And in between them answering questions, there's the opportunity to steal, to give counterpoints. For each contestant that gives a good answer on their initial argument, they get 2 points. Good counter-argument, they get another 2 points. They answer and their answer is off track, off topic, or just really doesn't make any sense, and a lot of time they lose a point. At the end of each question round, we'll total up the points and we'll present the winner for that round. The net point total, the person who has the net point total is the highest by the end of the show, gets 30 seconds to steal the spotlight and present anything that they'd like. So it's up to them to film off air and show you whatever they have top of mind. So with that, let's hop into the episode. Alright, so first question on the docket today. We're starting with no points up on the board, so if we can get those up there. Alright, so first question is going to be, should you dump fast and move straight to SharePoint 2013 for search? Robert, you're first up.
Yeah, my answer to that is absolutely, and I have a few reasons for that. First of all, most people who bought into Fast didn't buy in for specific Fast features. You know, there are a couple of good things that Fast does that you would want to buy it for, and most people didn't buy it for that, so why not go to 2013? The next thing is you can get a native Microsoft environment, and I can't remember the last one.
Well, good thing, because you're out of time. All right, we're on to Mikael Svenson.
Yeah.
Mikael.
So, should dump fast? Well, the question is, how many people actually bought into Fast in the first time? I mean, if you look at sales numbers, my guess is not too many. But if you did buy into Fast, I would say, okay, you should stay if you like doing XML configs. You should dump it if you like to do UI. If you like to reindex your content, if you change your topology, sure, stay with Fast. If not, move to 2013. So I guess go to 2013 unless you have any other reason to.
You're up, Robert. Do you have any sort of rebuttal to that?
Sure. I think that actually it's a very good point that Mikael makes, is that people who want to do UI stuff should dump Fast. And actually that's one of the big reasons why Microsoft was selling Fast, was for things like the web apps preview. And people were suckered into it a bit to get those web apps preview. So I'd say now is your time to get rid of it for those reasons why you bought it incorrectly, and move to actually a more stable platform that supports that stuff natively.
All right.
Yeah, but then again, doing previews could be done with out-of-the-box search as well. So that was just a marketing feature, and I think I actually wrote about this, and I was I clarified it with Microsoft first. So I guess they sort of, okay, maybe most people bought into the media hype, but it's perfectly possible to do the Office previews. But then again, how many installations have you done where Office previews actually work for all different site collections? It just doesn't.
Well, that's another reason too. Absolutely, and we'll have that in 2013 as well. But yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pausing you guys for a second. On to Michal Pisarek. Michal Pisarek, you have your 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay, I think I'm going to give you the typical consultant's answer and say that it depends, right? You have to look at the business value that the new features in 2013 are going to provide. And for those organizations that have made a significant investment in Fast already, you might want to look at kind of your content and your current structure of your search see and look at the new features in 2013 and see if there's a business case to be made. The best and latest technology doesn't mean that it's going to be better, right? There's better features, but if you don't take advantage of them in 2013, you might as well stick with fast and the investment that you've already made.
All right.
Oh, such a reasonable answer.
Well, it's because we've got all of you technical guys, you know, looking
Robert,
at that technical
Mikael?
bandwagon, upgrade versions. What are you going to say to these poor people that have spent, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars putting fast in, and now all of a sudden, you know, they have to essentially scrap that investment to move to 2013?
Well, that depends. I mean, what kind of investment are you talking about? So how many people are actually using the specific features of Fast Search for SharePoint which you don't have in 2013? I guess for most people or most companies, you can upgrade to 2013 and actually get a lower investment. But of course, you already made the investment, so you might not want to throw it away. So feature-wise, I guess there's two features being removed in 2013, as far as I know, and that's the person name entity extractor and the geographical names entity extractor. And everything else should be
no,
there.
that's a good point. I mean, undoubtedly the search features in 2013 are better, but it's just like when you're moving across SharePoint versions as well, right? Just because you're upgrading from one version of search to another doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get this amazing, you know, miraculous search improvement. I would rather have organizations take a bit more time looking at their businesses and looking how they could leverage search much more from a business perspective than just simply hoping and praying that an upgrade is going to fix all of their search woes.
Yeah,
well, you know, that's a good point. But what are we saying? Just because people have made a big investment in something, even if that investment wasn't the best thing, that they should stick to it just because they made an investment? Also, there are other ways that you could really, you know, improve your environment, improve your whole SharePoint experience by transitioning to 2013. So I'm not exactly sure. Of course, you know, there's an expense to that as well that you have to consider. Are we going to be better off just hanging out with Fast in 2010, or is there going to be more to 2013 that's going to move us along, including search as well? One thing I'm sorry.
One point you should remember is that you can perfectly well install a 2013 search farm alongside your 2010 SharePoint solution. That should work just fine.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna have to stop you guys now. We're gonna run out of time on this one. So that's the end of round number one. Let's total up the points. All right, so after a heated round one, we have a tie, and in one winner by 2 points, we have Robert Piddocke, who is at 6 points, Mikael Svenson, who's at 8 points, and Michal Pisarek, who is at 6 points as well. So moving on to question number 2, we have, if your website is based on SharePoint, should you just add a Google search appliance? We're going to change up the order this time. Michal Pisarek, you're up first.
Absolutely no way, right? There's more than enough features in SharePoint 2007, 2010, and 2013 to create a really compelling public website search experience. Everything from best bets, everything from document previews, if using fast, scopes, customizing the way that those search result looks. You could even, God forbid, look at products from SurfRay as well if you're that way inclined. More than enough capabilities to make use of a fantastic search experience in SharePoint 2010, no use for Google.
Sorry, Mikael Svenson, sorry, we're up on you.
Right. Well, yeah, I think if you have SharePoint 2003, sure, go for Google Search Appliance. Or if you don't care about the search results, go for the Google Search Appliance. Or if you don't love SharePoint, go for the Google Search Appliance. If you don't care about security, on item level, go for Google Search Appliance. So there's a lot of reasons why you should go for the Google Search Appliance. But I guess there's more to go for SharePoint, right? And I have more time, so I'll whistle.
All right, enough of that. Robert, we're on to you unless somebody has a counter.
Oh yeah, sure. I think there's a couple of issues with Google Search Appliance, of course, but I can understand why organizations buy the Google Search Appliance, and that's because their users are saying, we can get what we want with Google, but we can't with SharePoint Search. And of course, when the admins hear this, they go out and buy the GSA. It's a few $1,000 for the smallest one. But really, there's a mistake in what they're hearing, because they're listening, we like Google, but actually what people are saying is, we want search that works. And of course you can make that in SharePoint if you do some stuff.
Exactly. Any?
Yeah, this is one of the very rare, if only occasions I'm gonna agree with Robert, but he's absolutely spot on. What people are actually looking for is good search, and they think that Google gives them good search, but no, you're not getting any extra points. If anything, I should be taking points away from myself. But this is really the first time I've agreed with him. But he's absolutely right. I mean, what people are looking for is a good search experience, and that at the moment is synonymous with Google. But there's no reason that you can't do all of that stuff and much more in SharePoint search.
I think there's one reason to go for Google, but I wouldn't go for the Google Search Appliance, and that's if you have a public-facing website. Then you might want to tap into the power of Google PageRank, etc., to actually get good search results on your site.
That was actually the question, Mikael.
Yeah,
you're a little off on the question.
You lose points because you don't even know the question, and I say never trust a man with an accent.
I think there's negative points
on
that one. You're getting knocked off on that one.
But you might actually get better search results from Google, but not Google Search Appliance, if you have a public-facing website.
Oh, I see what you're saying, that Google Web Search, where you actually have a filtered part of the whole Google index. Yeah, I have seen that as well.
The Google custom search.
Yeah. But that's not a GSA.
Nope.
And all right, well, we'll cut that off at the end of question 2. I'm going to cut you guys off for time here. Now let's total up the points for round 2. All right, recapping the points from round 2. Robert earned 4 points for a total of 10 points after round 2. Mikael Svenson, after a poor showing in round 2, not knowing what the question was he was answering, we gave him 1 mercy point, so he is up to a total of 9 points. And Michal Pisarek is off in the lead at 11 points. So going into round 3, we have one final question. What is one improvement that Microsoft should have made for search in SharePoint 2010? This time we're going to start with you, Mikael Svenson.
Sure. So there's basically one thing they should have made, and that they should have dropped the fast SKU. They should have made that the default search for Foundation, Standard, and Enterprise, getting more people to actually use all the features, and then people would have been feature ready to move over to 2013. Or maybe they've done it on purpose, just to make sure more people upgrade to 2013. So that's sort of up to the marketing department, but feature-wise, drop the fast queue so get more people into the different technical.
All right, on to you, Michal Pisarek.
Yeah, I think that was one of the big issues. I think for most SharePoint 2010 clients, you go to search and there's no way to get back. And I think one of the first things that people started doing is putting in navigation into that search page. I think the idea that Microsoft has was going to be this amazing search experience, so you wouldn't have to go back because you would always find what you're looking for. You kind of force people into the search area, they're going to find something. I don't think that was the case. At least in 2013, it's definitely been improved, so that's good.
All right, and on to you, Robert Piddocke.
I think there are a couple of things, and I'm going to take the technical route this time. I think they should have dropped this OSS search results.aspx page and just deployed SharePoint with a proper search center. I don't know why they did that. A little bit to the SKU part that Mikael was talking about. I think he's talking about the SKU already. They should have dropped fast instead of waiting for SharePoint 2013. But I think that having one SKU is probably the best way to go. Maybe scale is the way to differentiate the licensing. The third thing is give some more configuration around the web crawler. Let us do some special stuff in order to handle websites better. So 3 things, really. Sorry, too many. It seemed like a lazy thing to have in the first place.
The thing with the fast SKU, while I agree it should have been dropped earlier, I think it's better that Microsoft took their time and did it properly, rather than trying to kind of jam it in, right? Because then, especially around 2010, there were so many new features anyway. If they tried to jam together fast search in there and try to put it in, it could have been a complete disaster. I'm pretty happy that they've actually waited, and they've really looked like they've taken their time in this version in 2013 and have done it properly.
Yeah, I hope you're right about the best bets, Michael, about getting more people to use those features. And I hope they actually do the marketing on doing the query rules and the result segments and target that into doing stuff like best bets, because that's really powerful. I mean, I'm doing a project now. I think there's like 200 best bets, which are really useful for like 10,000 people company. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got one client. They're up to like I think 950 best bets, right? And they actually let their staff suggest them as well. Like it's simple stuff, right? It's really simple stuff, but it provides so much value. And in 2013 now, yeah, exactly, right? And when we talked about Google search, you know, previously about this serendipitous search experience, that best bet way is the best way to give people that Google-like search experience. They search for a keyword, and the first result they get back is something that they're exactly after because you've asked them. And that's what people are looking for from search. It's such a simple thing to do. It's
I'm actually going to do a sample on the best bet I ever created for a customer. Was because I was sitting at the customer having a headache, and I searched for painkillers, but I didn't get any results. So then I figured out, okay, where are the painkillers? And then that was in some cupboard at the 3rd floor. So then I made a best bet. So for painkillers, that's at the cupboard, and then I made synonyms for sledgehammer, drunken the day before, and all the other names for different painkillers. So that really useful, at least for me, right?
Because in Norway, distributing drugs to your employees is okay.
Yeah, maybe this sort of stuff flies in Norway, but in civilized countries, you know.
You're gonna go to Norway and search for opiates.
Well, have you ever been to the Microsoft
Where do you keep those?
Or some at the campus? If you look at the medicine cabinet, they have like all the different brands of painkillers. So just take your pick.
You're getting muted. Into round 3.
That explains a lot.
Stay tuned for just a second for our point total.
Right.
Alright, so thanks for joining this episode of Around the Point. With our final point total, we have Robert Piddocke at 14 points after that 3rd round. We have Mikael Svenson at 18 points. Knocked him a couple maybe for the English as a second language there. And Michal Pisarek winning the round at 19 points. So again, appreciate you joining this episode of Around the Point, focused on search. Thanks a ton to our presenters, Robert, Mikael, Michael. And with that, we'll hand it off to Michael to do his 30 seconds. Join us next time.
Before you upgrade to SharePoint 2013, really take a look at your current SharePoint implementation. Don't only consider SharePoint 2013 from a new features technical perspective, but audit your existing environment to see what works and what doesn't from a business perspective. Then structure that upgrade to take advantage of the technical features as well as some of the business side of things that might not be working particularly well. For instance, governance, business alignment, change management and training. If you do this, you're not only going to have a super successful technical upgrade, but you're going to leave behind a great SharePoint legacy for your entire organization. If you want any more information, check out my website at dynamicowl.com.